Let's start an argument. Does anesthesiology prove that there is absolutely no existence beyond the life that you live today? Does it prove that without the body, there is no such thing as consciousness or a soul? Now, this is something that I expect many people to have different ideas and thought processes on from all walks of society. So let's argue for a second. So when I was in high school, one of the fields that interested me was going to become a surgical anesthesiologist. But because I don't like surgery, I decided that that wasn't something I was going to do, but I did a tremendous amount of research about anesthesiology before I decided to go to the Marine Corps. So in my research of anesthesiology and more recent research of it, and going through the process at least 3 times of being taken under, I should say, I had my perspective on anesthesiology is this, and the soul and the body. So for those who don't know, when you go under general anesthesiology, what it does is that your brain does continue to work. Your entire body continues to work, but certain blockers are put in place in order for your brain and the connection that it had, the neurological connections that it has to your feelings, your environment, to what's going on around you are blocked. This is why when you go under anesthesia, general anesthesiology, you don't dream. Your mind doesn't wander. You are not asleep as you would normally when you go to bed. So even though they say I'm gonna put you to sleep, they're not necessarily putting you to sleep. They're just disconnecting your brain's neurological connections to the rest of your body. So without your brain's neurological connections to the rest of your body, your consciousness seems to go away. Your soul seems to go away. You now have a blank of time. Time didn't matter. There was no time. You were totally unaware of life in itself, all forms of life. Now, some people are going to say, well, I've had a epidural, but I still dreamed, or I had a local and I still dreamed. Those types of low-level anesthesia never takes you to that state where all the neurons are blocked. So you're closer to a dream state where DMT is released into your brain. You're closer to that when you have a local or an epidural or something of that nature. What I'm speaking of is general anesthesiology, when you're taken completely under. So when you're dreaming, your body still has neurological connections to the environment around you, to your feelings, to your conscious, what we would call your consciousness, still has connections to all those things. So it allows you to dream. It allows you to go to places that you wouldn't normally go to. It allows you to be in a state where you're not only daydreaming but aware of everything, but you're deeply submerged into that dream as if it is a whole new reality. And many people have likened that to when they are in meditations. They've likened that to having near-death experiences and so on and so forth. But you have to recognize, when most people have a near-death experience, their body, their mind releases a tremendous amount of DMT, which creates hallucinations. So those hallucinations are generally based on things that you already have in your subconscious. So you're not necessarily creating a new reality or going to a new reality. You are simply hallucinating about different aspects that are already a part of who you are and what you think about reality in itself, and which is why your religious beliefs often creates your heaven, your hells that you go to, because someone having a near-death experience who is Brahmin will see Krishna or Lamishka or some other deity. They will see Shakti or someone of that nature. They don't see Jesus. They never see Jesus. And since all of them have a devil, they can all see hell in some form or fashion. But for the most part, this is different from anesthesiology. This is different from a general. So here's the argument. When you go into that state of being and you have a total disconnect from the body, does the soul now reside? Does that mean that the soul actually is truly connected to the meat suit of the body, and that without the body there is no soul? That's argument number one. Without the body, there is no soul, because without connections to the body, there is no existence. Your mind ceases to perceive existence, which is why when you have that general, there is just a blank space of time. You didn't see anything, you didn't go anywhere, you didn't meet anybody. It's just a blankness of time, as if you cease to exist. That is one of the beliefs that many cultures have, that you just go into oblivion. Whether we're talking about your heart being heavier than Mayat's feather, and so you go into oblivion, or in the parts of Hades where there is oblivion, or in the original Jewish teaching where you just go into oblivion, that is more tantamount to just oblivion. Is that where you really go? Is that what really happens? So is there no heaven nor hell without the body, without the conscious connections to the reality that we have right now? Because only in dream states or local anesthesiology do we have that connection to the body, which then is able to provide us our dream states, our conscious states of heaven and hell. Because there is no proof of it beyond that. This is why the Bible says that you will have a new body in heaven, because in order to have a heaven, you have to have a body. And other religions teach a similar thing, that you will have a new body, because without the body, there is no heaven or hell. So in truth, when a person just dies, based on research from anesthesiology, you just cease to exist. There is nothing afterwards. There is no time, there is no space, there is no consciousness. Consciousness only exists with the body. But what do you guys think? Let's argue. And y'all have a great day. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.